Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Play Branson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. And today I've got a special show with Mama Haygood, Marie Haygood, kind of behind the scenes, but without her, the Haygood show would not have been possible. And so we're going to learn about their history, and really excited to have her on the show today. Now, July 4th is coming up this weekend, and so I want to give you some Independence Day facts. Did you know that only 2 men signed the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776? The other 54 delegates signed over the course of the next month. So only 2 delegates signed on actually July 4th. Did you know that Americans are expected to eat 150 million hot dogs over the July 4th holiday weekend? That's a lot of hot dogs. Americans spend over $1 billion a year on fireworks. And out of that, only 10% are set off professionally. So be careful, because over 12,000 people end up in the hospital due to fireworks. I had a firecracker actually blow up in my hand when I was a kid. Not a pleasant experience. So be safe out there with those fireworks. This is an interesting fact. Thomas Jefferson at 82 years age and John Adams at 90 both died on July 4th, 1826, within 5 hours of each other on the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. That's a very interesting fact. So folks, if you haven't been to Branson, you've got to come. There's a lot of great things to do here this summer. There's the lakes, there's the shows, the attractions, the theme parks. If you're sitting at home and you haven't planned yet, you need to make your reservations for Branson. So come on to Branson. We'll be back in just a second with Marie Haygood.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need ibranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at ibranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. ibranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson, and today on the show we have Mama Haygood, Marie Haygood. You are the inspiration for one of the most popular shows in Branson. First time you've been on the show.
Yes.
And you're kind of different on the show because you're not out front. You're kind of behind the scenes person.
You're right.
And so we change it up sometimes here on the show. So it's great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate you digging into the Haygoods and finding out more information about it. It's true. I am not on stage except they introduce me. I get an 8-second parade wave, and that's about it. But it's not about me. It's about my children, their talent, their spirit, and giving back to the younger generation.
So let's go way back, because
all right, let's go back. Memory lane.
I think people will appreciate the history.
All right.
And that's kind of the first part of our show, is always the history. So talk to us about your history and growing up and your influences and how did the Haygoods happen?
How the heck did it happen? All right. I was born January 26, 1956, Dolores Marie Haygood, so now we've got that. Oldest of 10. And why that is important, because that was the way that I was prepared to lead and take care of a large family, of which I didn't know, of course, at that time, that was God's plan. I was Army brat or Army angel, as I've heard. My father was in the military. We traveled all over the world. Profound experiences that affected me for the rest of my life. Married in Hawaii, my father's last tour of duty, and then motherhood stepped in. And honestly, I've been asked, why did you choose to have 8 children? I didn't choose. I just said, I'll do what you want, meaning him. But I mean, honestly, I kind of think he took advantage of that, but we'll just leave it at that. Wouldn't do without any of them, don't get me wrong. In my younger years, though, a little backtracking, I did enjoy a lot of extracurricular activities. I was track and field. synchronized swimming, which for those
Right.
of you that don't know, that is on the water ballet.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really builds up strength and endurance. Oh my goodness. Did a lot of dance, jazz, gymnastics, tap, and even got a scholarship for a ballet school, well-known ballet school. But honestly, it was never in my heart to make any of these a career. I was just doing it for the fun of it, for the passion of it, for the moment. But I do tell people, and looking back in retrospect on my life, I realized that that was God's way of preparing me for taking my children into the entertainment field. I never decided I'm going to have a bunch of children and put them on stage. I mean, honestly, I don't know what sane person would, but
Yeah.
you know, but that's what it ended up being. So,
Yeah.
quick synopsis.
So you're starting to have kids, and your oldest, right, Timothy,
Right,
or
Timothy.
Tim, whatever. What do you call it?
I call him Timothy because I named him Timothy, but everybody calls him Tim.
Okay.
I'm going to be the official.
Sometimes parents can talk to their kids different ways than other people. Right?
That's true.
So he is watching Sesame Street. You take the story.
All
from
right,
there.
I'll take the story from here. So the one defining moment, and I say it's a defining God moment, that started the whole ball rolling for the Haygood Entertainment was this, and I'll set the scenario. At the time, I had 3 children. Timothy was 5 years old, and we lived in a 14 by 60 mobile home, very small beginnings.
Right.
And since we lived in such a small home, my everyday goal was to keep it neat and clean. And on one particular day, I had laundry out and dishes out, and I couldn't wait to get those done. So it was nap time. I put 2 of the youngest down for nap, and Timothy, the oldest, had the privilege of watching Sesame Street. And so he sat down, watched Sesame Street, and I'm like, hey, I finally get to wash the dishes, put my apron on. Oh my gosh, I did wear an apron in those days. Who does that anymore? And
Some people do.
so I'm getting ready to wash dishes, and I hear Timothy in the next room crying out, "Mommy, Mommy, you've got to come see this man. I want to do exactly what he's doing. I want to be just like him." And here's the moment that changed it all. Within me, there was a little war going on because I really wanted to get my chores done.
Yes.
But he's calling me. So I'm like, chores, Timothy, and I'm like, no, I am a mother first. Dried my hands on the apron, go around the corner, sit down, and watched what Timothy was so entranced with. And it turned out to be Isak Perlman. For those of you that don't know, is a world-renowned violinist, stricken with polio in his younger years, and so traveled the world in a wheelchair. And very well known. And Timothy was so delighted with what he saw, even past that episode, for weeks on end. Mommy, Mommy, I have to do what that man did. I have to play the violin. And I kind of let it lie because every child wants to be like the fireman and the garbage man and the mailman and policeman. But he was relentless. So I played piano in my younger years. That was one of the other extracurricular activities I did. But I didn't know anything about a violin. So I thought, oh, what am I going to do here? So I put a little one-liner ad in our Bernie Star. We lived in a small town, Bernie, Texas, a small conservative town outside of San Antonio at the time, and said, does anybody know how to teach a 5-year-old how to play a violin? And then I had my phone number. That was it. And oddly enough,
It was before the internet.
yeah,
It was
definitely.
before the internet.
Before Facebook and anything.
Yes, people
Twitter,
did things
Instagram.
like in the paper.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
It took all I had even to pay for that one ad. So, believe it or not, I had people who actually answered. And through a series of phone calls, I had somebody donate a violin because we certainly couldn't afford a violin. and found a classical violin teacher who chose to use the Suzuki Method, which, because the violin is such a hard instrument to play, Dr. Chin Suzuki developed a method for younger children to play the violin and then progress further than most adults.
Isn't that the method Shoji learned? Was the
Yes,
Suzuki Method?
yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Good memory. So Suzuki Method is still around too, and it has expanded to other instruments. It was a saving grace for us.
Yeah. So you get the teacher, you get the violin, and then the rest is history, or what happens?
It could be history, but do we have 2 or 3 hours?
Okay, I tell you what, we're going to stop right here, actually. We are going to stop, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Woohoo!
With more from Mama Haygood.
Bye, folks.
Hey folks, welcome back to PlayBranson. We're here today with Marie Haygood. And Marie, you were talking about, you got the Suzuki Method going with Timothy Haygood. You've got, he's 5 years old. Take us from there.
Yes, okay, from there. And I'll quickly generalize because it's quite a story. So violin lessons became a regular part of our, our daily routine. And then the second one wanted to play an instrument, so we went and got him an instrument, and third and fourth, until all of them decided that that was something they wanted to do. And the great thing about it was I went to all the lessons, okay? And so I was able to start the younger children off, even my youngest, who was a year and a half old.
Oh my gosh.
I started him on the violin. Yeah, I put him in front of me, held his hands, and yes. Even if the lesson was 5 minutes long each day, you're still going to progress. I know. So then how did we become a group? We had an old folks home that actually our fiddle teacher at that time, we expanded to fiddling, was going to go and do a program for the old folks, but he called in before and he said, Marie, I'm sick, I can't possibly go over there. And in my heart, I saw a bunch of older folks sitting in wheelchairs needing somebody to talk to. So I said, come on, kiddos. And at that time, I had 5 or 6 of them, and I said, we're going to go over there, we're going to play whatever squeaky squawky we can. So that word of mouth, that there was this little fiddle family in town. Then the festival called, didn't have marketing. The word of mouth is what did it. And it just snowballed from there, which ended up taking us to Silver Dollar City. We were there from '93 to 2001. And then we had a family who owned a theater who asked us to move to the Strip. And I continued to take the kids to all the lessons. We expanded to guitar, to harp, to marimbas, to saxophone. I mean, you name it, we picked it up and played it. But all those were lessons. So most of our days, if we weren't performing, was lessons. And then there was the academics. That was not to be lost. We did do homeschooling also.
So your life kind of changed.
Oh yes, immensely so. And it's not really a job, Chris.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle.
Yes.
And I realize it's an abnormal lifestyle. But when God calls you to a mission, and that's what we have accepted it as, a mission, then He gives you what you need to follow through that mission. So
now you have 8 kids.
I have 7 boys and 1 girl.
And the every kid is different.
Right? There's no book written for this one.
Yeah, and so even in the show, they're playing different roles.
Yes, they are. And in the show, we've got all kinds of musical instruments, all kinds of singing, all genres of singing, all kinds of effects, all kinds of dancing, all kinds of lighting. We have what you won't see anyplace else.
Yeah.
And that would be one of the reasons why people would want to come. But it's also, Chris, we feel that giving of one's time is one of the most precious gifts you can give. And we're honored to have people come and give us 2 hours of their time. And we don't take that lightly. So we give them the best we can, and hopefully it's what satisfies them. And I like to tell people the show is G-rated, family-friendly, community-oriented, fit for the 6-month-old and the 60-year-old. So
no, it's true. It's high energy.
High energy.
and when you talk about talented family, like they can play multiple instruments, they can dance, they can sing, like the Haygoods can do it all.
Okay, thank you.
You know, I mean,
that
that comes back to, I mean, if you think about how much time you have invested in your kids and doing that, like, that's why they are where they are today.
It's true. It did take a lot of time, effort, money.
Yeah.
But I did it because God asked me to do it.
Yeah.
And again, I never dreamed that we would ever become a big production. But he just said, okay, put Timothy in violin lessons, so I did. And he said, okay, here's another one, put this one in. And it's like, okay, Lord, what's next? And you want me to do this? Okay, fine, I'll do this.
So you're at the show every time it happens, right? And what are you doing?
Yeah, thanks for asking, because most people don't know that. So to add to the abnormal situation, not only do I do marketing for the Haygoods during the day, then right before the show, I go do what they call presets, which means you lay out all the instruments, the tea, the picks, the drinks, the costumes for the backstage show. And during the show, I tech, and I do the change-offs, and I do the quick costume changes, and I'm literally running right to left backstage. So it is a well choreographed show back there too. And then at night I go home and I do what every mother does. I wash costumes. However, the odd thing about it, again, abnormal, is here my children are older and I'm doing their wash still, even though they've left house.
Okay, guys, do your own laundry. Do your own laundry.
But it's part of the job.
Yeah, interesting.
Can you paid to do their wash?
So is it hard? Is it hard to be the mother and then also like have almost a different role, or have you guys just figured it out?
Oh, Chris, that's a great question. I do have to constantly be aware of which hat I'm wearing, because I am an employee, I am a Haygood, I am a mom. So I have to know which hat to wear and which subject to wear it in. Yeah, it's a constant challenge and a mindset for me. But it's true, after doing it for so many years, you just sort of smelt together, which I think is really our greatest achievement, is learning to be together 24/7 and learning how to work the differences out and the difficulties. And if I can say, if there was anything great about COVID, is because we have been through the hard times, the lean times, and we have been through the prosperous times, the plenteous times. During that time, we knew how to pull together and make it a prosperous time, which most people would have felt would have been different because of that. But we were able to cut salaries because we've done that before. We were able to work together and figure out a way to stay in contact with our audiences and keep ourselves healthy and to keep our mindset in tune. Because oh my gosh, what a challenge it was, especially when it was coming down to it, because there was constant, every 20 minutes a new decision had to be made, so to speak. But we made it through. We're performing. 3 to 4 days a week.
So tell people when you're performing, where you're
Okay.
performing, and so that they can
thank you.
find you.
Yeah, thank you. We are at the Clay Cooper Theater on 76, the main drag through Branson. And we are there 3 to 4 nights a week. So we do have a few matinees during the day, but mostly our schedule is Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, TTS at 7:30 to 9:30-ish.
Okay.
It's a live show, so what you get, you know, sometimes.
And so, folks, 3 times a week. I talked to Tim yesterday, and he said the crowds have been amazing.
Oh my goodness.
And
yes.
so, folks, here's the
Yes.
deal. If you want to go see the Haygoods, you probably should make your reservations
Book
early.
Yes.
Because there's some times I haven't been able to get in, and
God.
they're packed, they're booked. But you're gonna get fireworks. You're gonna get high energy. You're gonna get world-class lighting. You're gonna get dance. You're gonna see the harp, which you don't see hardly on any show.
Yes,
And,
that's
I
right.
mean,
Well said.
I will guarantee you'll love the show, and if not, I'll give you your money back.
Oh.
But you got to buy your tickets through PlayBranson.com.
There you go. Hey,
So,
amen.
You know, it's a great family show that I think
Yes.
everybody in the whole family will enjoy.
Yes, can see and will enjoy. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
And
any
so-
parting words before we end the show?
As Mama Haygood, it's a privilege to talk to you today. It's a privilege to continue to promote faith, family, freedom here in Branson and on stage. And it's an honor to serve God.
There we go.
Amen.
There we go. Folks, we'll be back in a minute just to wrap up the show. Hey folks, welcome back to PlayBranson. We're wrapping the show up today. I just love the story of how one moment really can define the rest of your life. And I think that was very apparent in Marie's account of her history, and awesome story. And so we appreciate her sharing that very much with us. Be sure to go see the Haygoods over at the Clay Cooper Theater. You're going to have an amazing time. They are world-class entertainers, and I think your mind, if you haven't seen the show, I think your mind's going to be blown at everything that they do. So go check them out. 7:30s, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. They do some matinees certain times, so be sure to check the schedule for those exact dates, but typically Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 7:30. Coming up at the Branson Landing, on July 3rd, we have Mile Zero and the Dirty Saints, and they have fireworks after that. That's always a big event. Tons of people there. Go check that out. You can also find fireworks out at the Chateau on the Lake, out at Hollister, out at Kimberline City, Big Cedar. Lots of fireworks around town. Some of those are on the 4th, some of them are on the 3rd. So you're going to want to Google that, check those locations out and their specific times. Next week's episode, I have a special guest that is coming into Branson. His name is Alex Boyer, and he has over 1 billion views on YouTube, and he'll be doing some special stuff here in Branson. And so he's going to come stop by the show. We're going to get to know him better, so you'll want to learn more about Alex Boyer on the show. So thanks for watching. If you will go to our Facebook page and like us, we'd love it. If you will give us your feedback, we'd like that too. And if you have an artist you'd like to see on the show, let us know that, and we'll do our best to get them on future episodes. Sometimes it takes us months to get all the schedules coordinated appropriately. If you need help planning your vacation, be sure to go to ibranson.com, or you can call those folks at 877-ENTERTAIN. They can help you get show tickets, attraction tickets, dining vouchers, and lodging. So you literally can plan your whole entire vacation with the local experts at ibranson.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.